वेलकम टू वी लर्न में आपका स्वागत है। टुडेज सब्जेक्ट फाइनेंशियल अकाउंटिंग सेकंड और अकाउंटेंसी सेकंड, सेशन नंबर 10, टॉपिक डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ ए पार्टनरशिप फर्म। टॉपिक टू बी कवर्ड इन दिस सेशन: मीनिंग ऑफ डिसोल्यूशन, मोड्स ऑफ डिसोल्यूशन, settlement of accounts, accounting treatment. Meaning of dissolution: dissolution means discontinuance. When it relates to the relationship between the partners, it is called a dissolution of partnership, and when it relates to the business of partnership, it is called dissolution of the firm. According to the Partnership Act 1932, the dissolution of partnership between all the partners of a firm is called the dissolution of the firm. Therefore, the Act distinguishes between the dissolution of a partnership and dissolution of the firm. Dissolution of partnership means that the relationship between the partners changes while the firm may continue its business under the same name if the partners so decided. Meaning of dissolution: dissolution of partnership: the partnership is deemed to have been dissolved in any of the following circumstances. Number 1, expiry of the period of partnership, कि जब हम एक पीरियड के लिए पार्टनरशिप करते हैं, एक सर्टेन पीरियड के लिए पार्टनरशिप करते हैं और वो पीरियड जो है आपका ख़त्म हो जाता है तो पार्टनरशिप जो है आपकी डिसॉल्व हो जाती है. सेकेंड इज कंप्लीशन ऑफ द वेंचर फॉर विच इट वाज फॉर्म्ड, या जिस काम के लिए हमने पार्टनरशिप की थी वो काम हमारा ख़त्म हो जाता है तो भी हमारी पार्टनरशिप डिसॉल्व हो जाती है. थर्ड वन, एडमिशन ऑफ ए पार्टनर, या कोई नया पार्टनर आता है, या रिटायरमेंट ऑफ द पार्टनर्स, या कोई पार्टनर रिटायर होता है, या डेथ ऑफ पार्टनर, या किसी पार्टनर की डेथ हो जाती है, या पार्टनर कोई भी पार्टनर या पार्टनर्स जो हैं इंसॉल्वेंट हो जाते हैं. Meaning of dissolution: third, dissolution of a firm. In addition to the dissolution of the partnership, there is also the dissolution of the firm under the following circumstances: where all the partners agree that the firm be dissolved, where all the partners but one are insolvent, where the business become unlawful. In the case of partnership at will, when a partner gives notice of the dissolution. And next point, when a competent court orders dissolution. Modes of dissolution: dissolution without the order of the courts. A firm is dissolved without the order of the court in any one of the following ways or reasons. Number 1, dissolution by agreement. अनुबंध के अनुसार जो है dissolution होना. A firm may be dissolved with the consent of all the partners. नंबर 2, इन अकॉर्डेंस विद ए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन द पार्टनर्स, या तो सभी पार्टनर्स की सहमति से या इस तरह का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया गया है कि पार्टनरशिप डिसॉल्यूशन हो जाएगी तो आप जो है पार्टनरशिप को डिसॉल्व कर सकते हैं. सेकेंड पॉइंट, कंपल्सरी डिसॉल्यूशन. अ फर्म इज कंपल्सरली डिसॉल्व्ड अंडर द फॉलोइंग सर्कमस्टेंसेस. नंबर 1, व्हेन ऑल द पार्टनर्स और ऑल द पार्टनर्स बट वन आर एडजुडिकेटेड इंसॉल्वेंट, कि सभी पार्टनर या उनमें से कोई भी एक पार्टनर जो है इंसॉल्वेंट हो चुका हो तो पार्टनरशिप फर्म आपकी कंपलसरी डिसॉल्व हो जाती है. व्हेन वन ऑफ द पार्टनर्स इज एडजुडिकेटिंग इंसॉल्वेंट अनलेस देयर इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टू द कॉन्ट्रेरी. मोड्स ऑफ डिसॉल्यूशन: 3, dissolution on the happening of certain contingency. These are as follows: the expiry of the terms for which the firm was constituted. Number 2, the completion of the adventures. Number 3, the death of a partner. Number 4, the adjudications of a partner as an insolvent. Dissolution by notice in case of partnership at will. Modes of dissolution: second, dissolution by courts. Under section 44 of Partnership Act 1932, the court can order dissolution of the firm on the following grounds. Number 1, where a partner become of an unsound mind. Number 2, where a partner is permanently incapacitated to perform his duties. Number 3, where a partner is guilty of misconduct. Number 4, where a partner persistently commits breach of the partnership agreement, and number next, where a partner has transferred the whole of his interest in the firm. Now, settlement of accounts. In the absence of any specific agreement between the partners as to the mode of settlement of accounts between the partners after the dissolution of the firm, the relevant provisions of the Partnership Act shall apply, particularly Section 48, which states, in setting the accounts of a firm after dissolution, the following rules, subject to agreement by the partners, be observed. Losses including efficiency of capital shall be paid first out of profits, next out of capital, and lastly, if necessary, by the partners individually in the proportions in which they are entitled to share profits. Settlement of accounts 2. The assets of the firm, including any sum contributed by the partners to make up deficiencies of capital, shall be applied in the following manner and order. In paying the debts of the firm to third party. Number 2. In paying to each partner rateably what is due to him from the firm, or, and number 3. Advances as distinguished from capital. Number next, in paying to each partner rateably what is due to him on account of capital, and the residue, if any, shall be divided amongst the partners in the proportions in which they are entitled to share profits. Settlement of accounts 3. The overall effect of the above provisions may be summarized in simple terms as follows. The assets of the firm must be first utilized in paying off the claims of third parties against the firm. The balances should be applied in repaying the advances made by the partners to the firm as distinguished from the capital. If the amount is insufficient to pay off the loans, they should be paid off rateably or proportionately. The balance should be utilized in paying the claims of the partners in respect of their capital, which should be after adjusting all accumulated profits or loss and also drawing and realizations profits or loss. Settlement of accounts. Private debts of partners and firms debts. The creditors of the firm's third party liabilities should be paid out of the assets of the firm. If there is any surplus, it will be divided among the partners as per their claims, which can be utilized for paying the private liabilities of the partners. Similarly, the private creditors of partners should be first paid out of the private assets of the partners, and if there is any surplus, it can be utilized for paying off the partnership. Accounting treatment. All the assets except cash in hand, bank balance, debit balance of P&L account, and the debit balances of partnership capital and current accounts are transferred to the debit side of this accounts and are thus closed. Similarly, the accounts of all the outside liabilities are closed by transferring them to the credit side of realization accounts. After closing these accounts, the assets are sold off and the cash is realized, which is credited to the realization account. With the cash so realized, the liabilities are paid off by debiting the realization accounts and crediting the cash account. Like this one, परफॉर्मा ऑफ रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट्स यू हैव सीन लाइक टू. पहले हम क्या करते हैं, पहले एसेट्स को रिकॉर्ड करते हैं. जो भी आपके बैलेंस शीट में एसेट्स हैं उनको यहाँ लिखेंगे टू एसेट्स अकाउंट, ऑल एसेट्स एक्सेप्ट कैश, बैंक, डेबिट बैलेंस ऑफ P&L एंड पार्टनरशिप कैपिटल अकाउंट. क्योंकि बैंक अकाउंट आप अलग से बनाते हैं रियलाइजेशन अपार्ट फ्रॉम द रियलाइजेशन, तो कैश और बैंक के बैलेंस आप उसमें ट्रांसफ़र कर देंगे. कैपिटल अकाउंट आप अलग से बनाएंगे पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट, तो P&L का बैलेंस और पार्टनर्स कैपिटल का बैलेंस जो है P&L में डेबिट कर देंगे एंड रेस्ट ऑफ द बैलेंस शुड बी डेबिटेड इन दिस अकाउंट. देन ऑल लायबिलिटी इज क्रेडिटेड हियर like my pointers. By liabilities account, all the outside liabilities is also entered at first. Then if you have sold the assets by cash or bank, then by bank account credit side में लिखेंगे cash realized on the sale of a particular assets like machinery, furniture, एनी फिक्स एसेट्स, इन्वेंट्रीज। उसके बाद जब आप लायबिलिटी पे करते हैं तो इसका जो है क्रेडिट आप यहाँ लेंगे, टू बैंक अकाउंट कैश पेड टू डिस्चार्ज ऑफ द लायबिलिटीज, इस तरह से। और उसके बाद एट द एंड ऑफ द अकाउंट्स टू पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट इफ यू हैव एनी प्रॉफिट दैट मीन्स क्रेडिट इज मोर देन दैट ऑफ द डेबिट, तो आपको प्रॉफिट होती है। प्रॉफिट होती है तो आप यहाँ लिखेंगे टू पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट लाइक एक्स वाई जेड, उनका प्रोपोर्शन जो प्रोपोर्शन आता है उसके अकॉर्डिंग लिखेंगे, एंड दैट शुड बी क्रेडिटेड टू द पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट। अगर डेबिट साइड ज़्यादा होती है तो आपको लॉस होता है, और उस केस में बाई पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट एक्स बाई जेड, और उस लॉस को जो है पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट में डेबिट करेंगे। अकाउंटिंग ट्रीटमेंट 3, देयर आर 3 सिचुएशंस इन केस ऑफ डिसोल्यूशन by simple dissolution. Number 2, dissolution on account of insolvency of partners. Number 3, dissolution on sale to the company. Under all the 3 categories of the dissolution of firm, the accounts books are to be closed. Under the first 2 categories, the assets of the firm are disposed of in the market and the liabilities are paid off, whereas in the case of sale to a company, most assets and liabilities of the firm are transferred to the company and purchase consideration realized. Now, accounting treatment 4, simple dissolution. By simple dissolution, B means that the partners have decided to dissolve the firm in normal course and all the partners are solvent and the firm has not been sold to a joint stock company. The journal entries required to close the books under simple dissolutions are as follows. All the marketable assets shall be transferred to the realization accounts at book value. Marketable assets shall include all assets except cash in hand, bank balance, debit balance of P&L account, and debit balance of partners capital or current account, as I have already specified in the pro forma. Then accounting treatment 5, all the outside liability including the claims of relative of the partners and the provisions for doubtful debts to be transferred to the credit side of the realization account. If the assets are sold for cash, the amount so realized should be debited to cash or bank account and realization account should be credited. Number 2, if any assets is taken over by a partner at an agreed value, the partner should be debited instead of cash and realization account to be credited. If there is an unrecorded assets, the entry for its sales will be made and no entry is required for bringing it into account books. Accounting treatment 6, for the discharge of outside liability, realization account should be debited and the relevant account to be credited depending upon the mode of discharge. If cash is paid to discharge the claim, realization account is debited and cash account is credited. If partner take over the responsibility of discharging a liability, such partner's capital account should be credited instead of cash. If there is an unrecorded liability, it will also have to be paid off. Accounting treatment 7, the realization or binding up expense, if any, incurred in the course of dissolution should be debited to the realization accounts and the journal entry will be realization account debit with the amount of cash to cash account. Loan advance by partners as distinguished from their capital account should be paid and the entry will be partners loan account debit with the amount of loan to cash account. Now accounting treatment 8, all accumulated profits standing in the name of the reserve fund, general reserve, profit and loss accounts, credit balance, etc., and all accumulated losses standing in the name of profit and loss debit balances should be transferred to the partners capital accounts in the profit sharing ratio. In the end, the claim of the partners in respect of their capital will be settled. If the capital account of a partner shows a debit balance, he will bring cash. Whereas if the capital account of a partner shows a credit balance, he will be paid cash. Now, dissolution of accounts of insolvency of partners. The procedure for closing the books under insolvency is almost the same as under simple dissolution. that is marketable assets and external liabilities, are transferred to a newly opened realization account, and they are realized and paid off through the same account, and the loss or profit on realization transferred to the capital accounts of the partners. Thereafter, if the capital account of a partner shows a debit balance, he should pay the amount to the firm. But in case the partner is insolvent, he will not be able to pay at least the full amount. Resolution on sale to company. The purchase price, commonly known as purchase consideration, agreed between the parties is debited to the purchasing company account and credited to the realization account. So, the purchasing company settles the purchase price by paying cash or issuing equity share or both. Cash account and equity share in purchasing company's account will be debited and the account of the purchasing company will be credited. Assets not taken over by the company are disposed of, and any profit or loss on such disposal is transferred to the realization accounts. Now, do it yourself. Question number 1. How do you settle the accounts of the partners in Garner's versus Murray rule? Number 2. What are the different methods of calculating purchase consideration? And that's it from session number 10. Thank you.